Some of the most racist people I've seen lately are race activists who now claim to be anti-racist. You know, they're obsessing about race, seeing everything through race. They're demanding race quotas. They're making rules like saying, well, if you're white, you're guilty or an oppressor or something. And if you're black or brown, you have to be left-wing. Because if you're a conservative, no black or brown person can be conservative. They all think alike. That means you must be an Uncle Tom, a coconut, white inside, a race traitor. It's sick and it's racist. But I have seen this abuse hurled here at Aboriginal conservatives like Jacinta Price, for instance, or Warren Mundine. So it was good to see, finally, one of these left-wing racists get called out. And that person is Aysha Khanom, one of those supposed race experts, a leftist academic at Leeds Beckett University. Or she was, because she's now been fired after she attacked British Conservative columnist and commentator Calvin Robinson. First, allegedly calling him a house negro, apologies for the language, but she used it, like a slave of whites, that's what it means. And then she definitely called Robinson a coconut. Now, her university sacked her for racism. Now, normally you don't get that kind of consistency, I tell you. But she is now suing that university because she claims, and this I find amazing, she's the victim here, the victim of discrimination, because she says sacking her is an illegal attack on her beliefs in critical race theory and black radicalism, which apparently now like a religion, protected beliefs. I thought it sounded like a cult. Joining me is Calvin Robinson. Calvin, thank you for joining me. I always long wanted to talk to you, and I'm so glad you're gracing the show. First of all, let us be clear. This woman's insults of you were racist. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here. But absolutely, her comments were racist. She was talking about me based on the colour of my skin and what opinions she thinks I should have and what box she thinks I should fit in. And because I didn't fit into that box, she thought I was fair game to attack. But this is what I don't understand. It's this idea that, because I'm brown, I have to hold certain political opinions, and if I don't, it's okay to be racist towards me. But then call yourself an anti-racist. It's like the mental gymnastics at play. These people do not see the irony of their ways. It's baffling, isn't it?
Well, I do, and it's so patronising too that there's no independence of thought. That everyone comes, their thoughts are determined by their race. It's really quite extraordinary. But her excuse now, this I find even more extraordinary. This excuse that she's given for her lawsuit, that she's now the victim. She's been discriminated against over her beliefs in critical race theory and black radicalism, and these are beliefs that are protected like you protect a religion. What do you make of that?
But I mean, of course she's the victim, because this is what critical race theory and identity politics and intersectionalism is all about, isn't it? It's all about being a victim, portraying yourself as a victim, to get special treatment in every scenario. Even when you are the attacker and or the abuser, you are still the victim. It doesn't make sense, it's not logical. But where I do agree with her is on this idea that CRT is a cult, it's a religion, it's not based on fact or science, it's mythology. It's this idea that somehow white people are naturally born racist and they're the only people that can be racist, and brown people and black people are somehow oppressed and victims in a very open and Western society. We all know that doesn't make sense. It doesn't pass the common sense test. Therefore, it has to be a cult. So I agree with her on that instance. But should she be protected under the law? Absolutely not. Because if she's protected for hurling racial abuse under the law, that means anyone can be. So if she's saying that her beliefs are a religious belief that needs to be protected, what's to suggest white supremacists can't protect their views? What's to suggest the KKK can't protect their views? It's nonsense, and she doesn't see that.
I think that's absolutely correct. I find it most strange that even when she's victimising, she's a victim because of her racial beliefs, I guess. Now, I like this too, Calvin. She said the terms that she hurled at you were meant to be offensive because they're anti-racist terms. They're meant to make someone feel uncomfortable, but just because something's offensive doesn't mean you can't say it. Now, that is an argument for free speech that I have almost never heard from the left, that yes, we should be free to say things that others find offensive. Just make it because something's offensive doesn't mean it should be unlawful. What do you make of that argument?
She's clearly quite clever because she's using our own arguments against us. And I absolutely agree with her on them. Just because something's offensive doesn't mean it should be illegal. But she's not arguing against my politics. She's not arguing against my views. She's not telling me why I'm wrong. And she's not offending me because of my beliefs. What she's doing is attacking me based on my ethnicity. And that's racism. And that she's right to say it caused offence and it's harmful speech, because it is. So she's trying to take free speech and twist it around and use it to her advantage, but it doesn't work like that. What is it the left always say? Free speech has consequences. She met those consequences, and now she's trying to play the victim and turn up this university and say, actually, no, you can't cancel me because I'm a racial, what's it, black radicalism? We know what black radicalism is all about. We know what Malcolm X was all about. It was segregation, it was apartheid, it was racial superiority. We don't need to go back down that route. We fought the civil wars, we won them, we fought for equality. Everyone in the West these days is treated with equal opportunities. Doesn't matter what your skin color is. That's what we should be promoting. Treat people based on the content of their character, not the color of their skin. Dr. Martin Luther King, far superior to Malcolm X.
Calvin Robinson, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much indeed for your time.
The pleasure is mine. Thank you very much.